Moin moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude. It's summertime, it's holiday time and the right time for the Travelzoom-Cameras. These cameras are lightweight, they are small, they fit into your pocket, but they are full equipped with a lot of stuff inside. They have a big zoom lens, they have Wi-Fi on board, they have GPS on board, and today I want to show you the 5 most interesting Travelzoom cameras. Starts with the Canon PowerShot SX700HS, the Coolpix S9700, the Olympus Stylus SH1, the Panasonic Lumix TZ61, and last but not least, the Sony Cybershot HX60. So these are the most, in my opinion, these are the most interesting Travelzoom cameras because they are full equipped with everything you need. They have good sensors, they have 30 time or 24 time zoom. They start with 24-25 millimeter. So these are real nice cameras. Talking about the sensor, all the cameras have the same size sensor. So that's a 1 by 2.3 inch sensor. The sensor size is very small. Yes, it's very small. Compared to a DSLR or compared to a RX100 from Sony, the sensor is real small, so you can't work real good with depth of field. You can, but it's very limited. So it's more a snapshot camera for a nice snapshot, but not to compose a picture with depth of field, unsharp background, sharp foreground and stuff like this. Therefore the sensor is not big enough. Talking about the megapixel of the camera, we have sorry, I have to look a little bit because there are so many data of these cameras, I cannot have everything in my mind. We have 3 cameras with 16 megapixel. That's the Canon, the Nikon and the Olympus. These have 16 megapixel. The Panasonic has 18 megapixel and the Sony goes up to 20 megapixel. And so the next question is, how is the picture quality and how different is the picture quality? All cameras have good picture quality, so there's no camera where I would say, okay, this is a very bad picture quality, this has a much better picture quality. All over the picture quality is very equal. If you want to compare it by yourself, go to my Flickr account. There you will see a space for these 4 cameras, and you will see the ISO pictures in the different ISO settings, so you can compare the picture quality by yourself with these 5 cameras. But in my opinion, there's no camera which I would prefer. Only talking about the picture quality, they are all good. For sure, if you go to a higher ISO setting, with this sensor size you won't get clear and sharp pictures. You have noise in the pictures. You will lose the details in the pictures. That's for sure. Small sensor, high megapixel value. So it's for sure that you have noise and you have less details when you go in higher ISO settings like 1600 or 3200. The zoom, these 4 cameras have a 30 time zooms, the Olympus has a 24 time zoom. There's only a very small difference between the 30 time zooms of these 4 cameras, because these 2 cameras, the Panasonic and the Sony, starts by 24 millimeter wide angle. The Canon and the Nikon starts by 25mm wide angle. So that's a very small difference. The telephoto goes to 720 with the Panasonic and the Sony, and goes to 750 with the Canon and the Nikon. The Olympus starts at 25mm and goes up to 600mm. So although this is a very good range for taking pictures in your holidays, you can take animals which are far away, or from a fisher boat which is on the ocean or stuff like this. So with all cameras you have a real good range of the zoom. So there's no one which I would prefer, even if the Olympus is a little bit less, but 600mm in the telephoto, that's absolutely more than enough. Talking about the main aspects or the main difference between these cameras, there's one point which the Panasonic has the Panasonic only, and this is the electronic viewfinder. We have here an electronic viewfinder, so none of these 4 other cameras has a built-in electronic viewfinder. What for is it good? If you go outside and the sun is very bright, you won't see real good the picture on these monitors. Doesn't matter which camera you have, you won't see the picture very clear on the monitor in the bright sunlight, and therefore the electronic viewfinder is perfect. And if you take glasses like me, it's very nice because you can see also the menus in the viewfinder. You have every information of the camera in the viewfinder, so that's a real nice option to have this viewfinder. The resolution of the viewfinder is not very high, so it's not the same kind of viewfinder you will find in the GH4 from Panasonic, or in a camera like the Alpha 6000, but it's okay. It's still enough pixel to get a sharp, clear picture. And as you can imagine, the viewfinder is very small, so to put in a viewfinder with 2.4 million pixel, it's not really good and it's not possible. So it's good enough, it's a good help. You can take real good pictures, and you can go to the through the menus also in the viewfinder. So this is one point which the Panasonic only have. But I should mention that the Sony also can used with a viewfinder, because on the top of the camera you have this flash shoe, and it's not only a flash shoe, it's an accessory shoe where you can not only can put a flash on top, but also an electronic viewfinder. The only problem is that the viewfinder is almost has almost the same price than the camera. So you double the price of the camera when you want to buy a viewfinder for the HX60, and with the TZ61 the viewfinder is built in. So it's kind of difficult to compare these cameras. All the others have no options for electronic or optical viewfinder. Talking about the screens, only the Olympus has a touch screen, all the others doesn't have a touch screen. And if you wonder, yes, also the Panasonic doesn't have a touch screen. I know the former model, the TZ41, did have a touch screen, but the new one, the 61, doesn't have a touch screen. What for is the touch screen good at the Olympus? The main thing for the Olympus is the touch focus and the touch shutter release. That's the only thing for the touchscreen, because if you go into the menus, you will see the menus won't work with the touchscreen. So the only thing is touch focusing and touch release, and you can toggle here at this side. If you press the button, you have only AF, so the camera makes only the focus on this point and doesn't make the shutter release. And in this option you also have the shutter release. So this is the function, the only camera with a touch screen. Talking about the lenses again, we have 600 or 720 millimeter, and therefore it's very important to have a real good stabilizer in the camera. And yes, all of these cameras have a built-in stabilizer, and they are very good. And you really can take pictures with 600 or 720 millimeters without shaking so much. You have a clear picture, you have a sharp picture. In my opinion, the stabilizer works best in the Panasonic because the picture is real smooth. It's not shaky, it doesn't jump when you turn the camera, so the picture is real smooth in the Panasonic. A very good stabilizer is in the Olympus. The reason why is because it's a 5-axis stabilizer. It's not only it works not only in this direction, but it works in this and it works in this direction. So that's a 5-axis stabilizer. And yes, this one works really good, and you get real sharp pictures also with longer exposure times. Talking about the settings of the camera, at every camera except one, we have the standard settings. I take the Panasonic. We have the standard settings for P, program, A, aperture, S, shutter speed, and manual. These have every cameras except for the Olympus. The Olympus has only P, program mode, and manual mode. If you go to the manual mode, you will see it's also a little bit not curious, but you will see that the settings here, you have the ISO setting. You can go to the different settings with the 4-way button. You have the ISO settings. You can adjust the ISO settings just by going up and down. You have the shutter speed, and you have the aperture. And the aperture you can only choose between two settings. You can only choose between two settings, and that's aperture 3.0 or a little bit higher if you go to a telephoto, and 8.7, and this goes up if you go also in the telephoto. You will see we go up to aperture of 19.3 and the 6.8 in the low setting. And so yes, the reason is okay, and it's okay that we only have the manual and not aperture and shutter speed at the Olympus. When you go to the Panasonic, you will see we have almost stepless, not stepless, but we have from 8, 7.1, 6.3, so we have much more settings of the aperture at the Panasonic. And one thing I should mention here at this point is the Panasonic has a second dial on the front side. So if you turn the front dial, you can change different settings with the back dial and the front dial. For example, if you're in the P setting and turn the front dial, you can make the exposure correction with the front dial. So that's very nice to have these two dials, one at the back side, one at the front side here at the lens, to make real fast adjustments of the different settings. The only camera which doesn't have a dial on the back side, that's the Olympus. There you have only the 4-way button here to configure the different settings. There's no dial, and also there's no dial at the front side. Yeah, I missed the dial a little bit because it makes the works in the menus a little bit faster, makes the settings a little bit faster. But once you're used to the 4-way button, that's absolutely okay. All the cameras has scene programs. On the dial you have SCN, SCN. also SCN, scene here, and this one has also scene, so you have different settings for portrait, landscape and stuff like that. It depends a little bit. Panasonic has a lot, the Sony has a lot, they have a little less settings, but all over it's absolutely enough to have settings for all the different scenes you have. So these are the scene programs. All the cameras have effect filters like a pop filter and so on. I show you at the Olympus, they have these art filters, how they work. You turn to art and it says art filters, and here on top you see the different art filters. The Olympus has 7: pop art, soft focus, pale and light color, grainy film, pinhole, diorama and dramatic tone. And all the other cameras has not the same, but has similar programs like the art filters here. Then you have different settings for the picture toning, like black and white, sepia and stuff like this. These have all the cameras too. Next point is the intelligent automatic. Also, for sure, these cameras have the intelligent automatic. Starting with a Sony, we have 2 different settings here of the intelligent automatic. The Panasonic EA intelligent automatic, the Olympus E-Auto, the Nikon has the green camera, that's the intelligent automatic, and the Canon also has the automatic mode here. So these are the automatic modes. Every camera has this. The camera checks the scene, checks the light and everything, and adjusts all the settings of the camera absolutely perfect to the scene. So yes, they work very good, the intelligent automatic. Next point, when you're out at the mountains in the city or on the sea, it's very nice to take panorama pictures. Panorama pictures is, with this camera, very easy to take because you don't have to stitch any pictures together on your computer or in the camera. You only hold the camera, turn it, and now you get the panorama picture. All these cameras can make panorama pictures. The only which doesn't make panorama pictures, that's the Canon. The Canon doesn't have a panorama program. And how it works, I can show you. The Olympus, the Panasonic and the Sony have the mode for the panorama here on the dial. So you just go to the panorama mode and then you can make panoramas. Panasonic and Olympus are exactly the same. The only which doesn't have this is the Nikon, and at the Nikon you have to go to the scene mode, and when you're in the scene mode then you have to go to the menu, and in the menu you have the different scenes which you can choose from. You see here a lot of scenes. Scene auto selector, portrait, landscape, sport, night portrait, beach, snow, sunset, close-up, and so on. And here we have the easy panorama, and we have 2 different settings. We have a 180 degree and a 360 degree. I choose the 180 degree panorama, and how it works, very easy. Just hold the camera and turn it around. That's it, and you have the panorama. I can show you how this looks. Here we have the panorama of my office. One advice: when you want to make high resolution panorama pictures, turn the camera. Don't make the panorama in this direction, but turn the camera to the portrait mode, because in the portrait mode the panorama is higher and you have more resolution for the panorama picture. If you want to make it a big picture on your wall or stuff like this, you should go in this direction. The Nikon and the Olympus recognize by herself that you've turned the camera, so you don't have to do anything, just press the button and then you make the panorama picture as I've did it before. It's exactly the same way. With the Panasonic and the Sony, you have to turn the direction by yourself. So you have to go, if you're in the panorama setting, you have to go in the menu, and here you see this one now goes down, and here we have, just a second, here we have the panorama size and the panorama direction. And if you want to take it like I did in the portrait mode, you have to choose the option down, and then that's it. You have to turn only. I'm too slow. Okay, and now I'm too fast. Yeah, it takes a little bit to get the right speed for the panorama mode. One thing I should mention is the Sony has the exposure correction dial here on top, so you could change the exposure correction here very fast. You don't have to go in the menu, so that's the only camera which have the dial here. The only option you have here at the Panasonic with a front dial, where you can make the setting for the exposure correction with the front dial. That's also a little bit easier than with the other cameras. So these were the settings: scene program, manual, intelligent automatic, panorama mode, different settings for picture control like retro and stuff like this, art filters. These are the settings of the camera, and one thing is the video mode, because yes, with every camera you can take videos, and the quality of the videos is okay. It's not very good, but for a camera size like this, you get a real good picture quality. Every camera works in full HD, 1920 by 1080. There are only different frame rates. The Sony, Panasonic, Olympus and the Canon have 40 or 60p, so that's the highest frame rate you can get, and the Nikon goes up to 30p, 30 full frames pictures per second, a little bit lower, but still picture quality is very good. So it's not the real big difference. You can also go to 60i, and yes, the picture quality between the cameras it's almost on the same level. Maybe the Panasonic and the Sony are a little bit better because they have a little bit more experience with video, but it's not the big difference, or it's not so that I would say that these cameras are less good for video. They are also good for taking videos. One thing I should mention: when you take videos, not every camera has the video function here on the dial. So if you look to the Canon, we have here the video function directly on the dial, and also with the Olympus, but not with the Panasonic. The Sony has the dial. I show you what happens, because when you want to start a movie with the Panasonic, you just have to press the red button here on top to start a movie. I have to go back to the standard setting, because otherwise you won't see what I want to show you. In the standard setting, you have an aspect ratio of 4:3. So that's the aspect ratio for taking pictures. When you start a movie, it changed to 16:9. So you get another picture. So when you start a movie, don't wonder that the frame is another when you take pictures or videos. So you see, when I stop the video, I'm back to the full frame taking pictures. You have two options to change it. One option is you have a video point here on the program dial, and you can change to the video mode. That's the one option. But if you don't have it like the Panasonic, you have to change the setting in the menu to 16:9, also for photography. You can go here at the FN button, and you have here the 4:3, and now you change to 16:9. And once you change to 16:9, you will see when I start a video now, we have exactly the same frame. So that's much easier to work with this, because you will exactly see what you get on your video before you start the video, and there's no difference between start and the picture size. So that's the option if you have a camera like this, which doesn't have an extra video option here on the program dial. Okay, so we had the lenses, video function. Every camera has a flash, a built-in flash. The Panasonic has the smallest one because it's here built in the front side of the camera. The other cameras have a pop-up flash like the Sony here. When you press the button, the flash pops up. Panasonic, Olympus, Nikon, and the Canon has also the pop-up flash. Coming to the menus and the buttons and how to work with the camera. The menus are easy to understand. I would say it's absolutely okay for a camera class like this. You can understand the menus. The menus are very good to work with it. There's no complicated under menus and stuff like this. And also the Olympus has changed the menu a little bit, so this is also now easier to understand and to work with. Let's have a quick look to the different menus and to the different settings, and to some of the cameras have a quick menu. I will give you a short overview about the different menus, starting with the Sony. If you go to the menu, you will see we have the top menus here, and then here are the different settings of the individual menus. We have the app menu, the Wi-Fi menu. So that's very easy to understand menu, and if you use another Sony, a mirrorless Sony or a SLT, you will see that's exactly the same menu and it's easy to understand. We have the FN button. When you press the FN button, we have different settings here. We have actually 12 settings to choose from. You will see here the 12 different settings, and just by turning the dial you can change between the settings, so that's very easy to change here between the different settings of the camera. So that's the quick menu from the Sony. What I have seen before, we have a 3-day level meter, so that's also nice. It comes with the Sony. When you want to change the different settings here on the display, just press the display button, and here we have the 3-day level meter. Coming to the Panasonic, also the Panasonic menu is easy to understand. We have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different options. If we go to the rec menu, here we have the settings of the rec menu. Also very easy to understand, very easy to work. with it, so there's no difficulty to understand and to work with the menu of the Panasonic. If you press the FN button, you will see a small quick menu. If you're used to the Panasonic mirrorless cameras, we have a much bigger quick menu. I like this one much more than only these few points here, but it's okay. You have the most important settings here. You can change it just by turning the front dial very fast. It's okay. I would love to see the big quick menu of the mirrorless cameras. It's a little bit there are a little bit more options which you can choose from without going in the menu, but it's okay. Press the FN button and you go to the quick menu. Coming to the Olympus, what I said before, the Olympus has changed the menu. When you go into the menu, it's very easy to understand. You have the top points here, and then just scroll down, and here we have all the points in the menu. So easy to understand, easy to work with. No under menus and stuff like this, like the other Olympus camera sets have. It's much easier to understand and much easier to work with. And we have the OK button, and if you press the OK button, you activate the quick menu here at the side, and you can change the different settings very easy just by going through the points. And then if you want to change here, if you want to change the panorama function from standard to full, just press the button and you have standard to full. If you are in the program mode, you have some more options here at the side. You have the exposure correction, white balance, ISO setting, and so on. And these are the different settings you have. So it's also a nice quick menu. A little bit more options than at the Panasonic, but not really much more. So this is the Olympus. Coming to the Nikon. Nikon menu is also very easy to understand. You have here the different settings. Let's go to P for program. We have here the different settings, program, the different picture mode or picture setting, movie setting, Wi-Fi options, location data options, and setup menu. So it's very easy to understand, very easy to work with. So it's also a nice menu. You can work very fast with it and understand how it works. The only thing the Nikon doesn't have, that's a quick menu. You have only the main menu, but here is no option. You have exposure correction, but that's it. You don't have any more options like a quick menu where you can set the most important options, like with the Olympus, Panasonic, or Sony. Coming last but not least to the Canon, and the Canon menu is, I think it's the smallest because you only have two top points, camera and setup, and again, here are the points you can choose from. There are not so many points which you can set, but I think it's absolutely enough, and especially if you don't use the camera too often, it's easy to understand and easy to work with the menu. Going to the P, we have also a quick menu here, the function set button. If you press the function set button, you will see here at the left side the different settings of the camera, ISO, flash compensation, drive mode, aspect ratio, and so on and so on. And it works also very easy. Just go, you have seen I have my colors black and white. Just go and then you can change the my color setting very easy. Turn it off and that's it. Press the button again if you want to change the ISO setting. Just go this way and then go to the ISO setting up to 3200 100. So that's also very easy, and the function set button gives you a good help to change the most important settings very easy. You have seen in some of the menus the GPS option. Yes, we have 3 cameras with a built-in GPS module. That's the Nikon, the Panasonic, and the Sony. They have a built-in GPS module, so you get the place where you take the pictures directly combined to your picture and check it afterwards in like Google Earth or stuff like that, and the Google Earth shows you exactly where you have taken the pictures. The Canon and the Olympus has GPS also, but not directly. You have to use your smartphone, and the smartphone take the location data and combine it later on with the pictures. That you do via Wi-Fi, because all of the cameras has a Wi-Fi built in. So it works like you start your photo tour, start your smartphone, and when your photo tour is finished, you connect your smartphone with the Olympus or the Canon, and then the camera transmit the location data to the camera, and the camera combines it with the pictures, and that's it. It's not as comfortable as with the other cameras, but it still works. And here we're now at the Wi-Fi functions. That's what I said before when you want to use the GPS function of these cameras. All 5 cameras has a built-in Wi-Fi, but there are big difference between the options you can choose and the things you can do with the Wi-Fi. The Sony, the Panasonic, and the Nikon has, I'm not quite sure, no, the Canon, sorry, and the Canon has an NFC chip, near field communication chip, so it's very easy to connect your smartphone with these cameras. With other cameras like the Olympus uses a QR code, so if you start the Wi-Fi, it takes some seconds and you will see a QR code here on the camera, and if you have the Olympus app, just take a picture of the QR code and camera and smartphone will connect together, so also very easy. And with the Nikon you have, I'm not quite sure if you have to put the WPS code in, or if they connect together, but it's still also very easy. The difference between the functions is the Panasonic has the most functions. In the Panasonic we have a lot of options for the Wi-Fi module, for the Wi-Fi connection. You can transmit the picture to your smartphone, to your computer, to a TV set. You can transmit the picture in the background to your smartphone while taking new pictures. You have a really good remote control of the camera. So the Panasonic has the most Wi-Fi options of all these 5 cameras. Next one is the Sony. The Sony has also a lot of Wi-Fi options, not as much as the Panasonic, because the Sony doesn't transmit the pictures in the background, but still there are some options. And a real good thing, you have the App Store, and from the App Store you can select some additional apps for additional functions here. If you go to the menu and go here to the App Store symbol or to the app symbol, you have the application list, and in the application list we have different applications like multiple exposure or like time lapse. Some of these apps you have to pay for, but some of these apps are also free, and so you can build up your camera like you want it with these apps. So the Sony is also real good in the Wi-Fi applications. Next one is the Olympus. You have also good remote control. You have the connection to your smartphone. So it's also a good package. Little bit less functionality has the Canon and the Nikon, especially talking about the remote control with a smartphone. They only can make the exposure correction and take a picture, and that's it. While you can change with the Panasonic much more settings from your smartphone. So this is a little bit lower in the options when using the Wi-Fi connection. Okay, so Wi-Fi, GPS, zoom, video function we had. What else can I show you? What else did I miss? What else is important? Every camera has a macro mode, more or less on the same level, so there are not so many differences between the macro mode. Video mode, I told you. Yes, I think these are the most important functions and options of the travel zoom cameras. Now comes the question, which one is the best? I can give you an answer which one is the best. In my opinion, and for me, the Panasonic I like most, because the only reason is the viewfinder. I like the viewfinder. I like to work in bright sunlight. I take glasses, and for me it's very comfortable to have a viewfinder, even if it's a small viewfinder. But for me it's very comfortable, and I like to work with a camera with a viewfinder. And all over the camera has nice Wi-Fi functions. I'm a Wi-Fi junkie. I use everywhere I can Wi-Fi with my smartphone, with my tablet PC, with my iPad, and so for me the Wi-Fi function is very important, and the Panasonic has a real good Wi-Fi function. Talking about style, talking about the ergonomic design and the design in whole, the Olympus is my absolutely favorite. The camera looks very nice, it's very good in the hand, it's small, it's lightweight, has good options, has the touch screen, there's everything in I need, and it looks still very, very nice, and I like this retro style. It looks a little bit like the OM10, a small OM10, so that's my absolutely style favorite, talking about style. The Sony is just an all over good package. There's everything I need. I have the apps, I have a good stabilizer, good video mode, the 24mm wide angle zoom. So this is a real good package. The camera is not very light, it doesn't look very nice or stylish, but the package all over is a real good one, so I like the Sony also very much. Yes, and the Nikon and the Canon, they are absolutely average, they are good cameras, but they have no specials. They have no specials like the design or like the viewfinder, or here the Sony doesn't have a special too, but the all over package, everything fits together. You have the external viewfinder if you want, and so these both cameras, they're very good. They make good pictures, good video quality, but no special functions, no things which I should mention, like the style or stuff like this. But again, two very good cameras with all the things you need, and yes, also very good. So now it's up to you. It's up to you which camera you like most. No one is bad, and I can say every camera is absolutely okay. Every camera of these 5 you buy, you will have lots of fun, you will make good pictures and take nice pictures, have good picture quality, good video quality, and you have a lot of options you can play with. So none of these cameras is a no-go. Every camera is absolutely real nice buy, and you will have fun with these cameras. Okay, so that's it for today with my travel zoom cameras. The Canon PowerShot is SX700HS, the Coolpix S9700, the Olympus Stylus SH1, the Panasonic TZ61, and the Coolpix, the Sony HX60V. Oh, one thing I should mention, these two cameras you can also buy without GPS. I think that's the TZ51 and the HX60 without the V, so a little bit cheaper, and without the GPS module, but similar to these models. Well, that's it for today. If you like my video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel. Yeah, and if you want to support me, please, you can buy at one of my Amazon links one of these cameras, and you support my channel, my YouTube channel, and my internet page. That would be very kind. Yes, thank you for watching me, and as always I say bye and moin moin.